The Switch 2 is real, and we have a lot of huge news. Some massive things have leaked about the console, some that I like, and some that I really don't like. Back in 2017, we got the Nintendo Switch, and after their last console, it was definitely needed. 7 years on, Nintendo have announced the Switch successor, and everyone has one big question. Will it live up to the Switch's success? And to find this out, we're gonna look at the specs, rumored games, the look of the console, the release date, and the price. So here's absolutely everything we know about the Switch 2. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Starting with the specs. A recent hardware leak shows that the upcoming console is going to have an 8-core Cortex A78AE processor, 8GB of RAM, and a 64GB internal eMMC storage. But after encrypting all these random numbers and letters, I managed to find out that it was about as powerful as a PlayStation 4, which is pretty disappointing. The PS4 came out 11 years ago. I was 12 11 years ago. I was still eating school dinners and just avoiding all the vegetables. Look, I'm not saying the lack of power is a bad thing. I mean, the Wii was one of the least powerful consoles of its generation, yet it had some of the best games and sold the best out of all three consoles. All I'm saying is to have the power of a literal 12-year-old console is an interesting choice. But on the bright side, literally, we get a brand new OLED screen without having to buy a whole device that's exactly the same as the last one with just a slightly better screen. Thanks, Nintendo. But there also happens to be one super huge problem to all of this that I just absolutely hate. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. So I guess no thank you, Nintendo? That's all well and good, but what new games are these specs going to be able to handle? Well, that moves us on to our next point. Rumored games. A credible Nintendo leaker on Twitter, X, look, I hate it as much as you guys do, said that there's a project at the works at Nintendo called Yu-King-Oh. If you have no clue what this means, how? How are you even a Nintendo fan? This obviously means... What does this mean again? This possibly means that there could be a new version of Breath of the Wild coming out for the Switch 2, as the development name for that game was Yu-King. Not only that, but in 2013 at Gamescom, game developers got to see the Switch 2 behind closed doors, running a version of Breath of the Wild that had been enhanced. So why not just release that, Nintendo? Get some extra cash. Why not? I don't mind, but I really do hope that it's not just a remaster and some new things are added to it. Look, the game is only 7 years old, and I have actually only just completed it. Yeah, I know, I'm bad at video games, okay? But my point is, it held up really well. So is this really needed? The same leak has also said that the next big 3D Mario game is in the works. And what do we know about it? The code name is SP Red. And it's probably going to be 3D. Moving on. And Square Enix said in a recent meeting, yep, we're digging into literal meetings for rumours now, that they are aggressively pushing a multi-platform strategy that includes Nintendo platforms. Which sounds like a way of saying, we're making games for the Switch 2 without upsetting Nintendo. Probably the weirdest one, and the one that's almost 100% confirmed, is Pokemon Legends ZA. How do I know that this is 100% confirmed? Do I have insiders at Nintendo? Do I secretly work for the Pokemon Company? Have I shipped myself to Japan in a box with a stamp on it that says to the Pokemon Company, and then when they open it, I pop out and go, hello, I'm here, and have a little snoop around, take some photos, maybe get back into the box and get shipped back to the UK? Nope, it's just listed on the Pokemon website and it says 2025 release, which is when the Switch 2 is supposedly coming out. There's even a trailer for this one, so I'm going to go watch it so we can find out a bit more about the game. Oh my god, Pikachu's in it! And finally, one of the last games we know about was found in a financial document sent to investors. Yeah, this is really fun stuff, trust me. We got mention of Metroid Prime 4 with a to-be-continued launch date. But if Pokemon Legends ZA is coming out in 2025 and Metroid Prime is coming out after that, then it's gonna be on the Switch 2. This would be such a cool launch title. And honestly, the first Metroid game I will have ever played. Games are fun, don't get me wrong, but speculating on what the device is going to look like is even funner. More fun. It's better. What will it look like? Vandal, the Spanish video game website, has reported that the Switch 2 Joy-Cons might be magnetic. Now that would really attract me to this console. You can get it because of magnets. This does sound really cool, and I really do hope it's true. We speculated the exact same thing when the Nintendo Switch was just about to be released, and there just seemed way too many problems with it. We didn't get them then, we're probably not going to get them now, and we got the rail system, which breaks very easily. Rip my Switch. Not much else is known about the look of the console, but there have been some cool concepts floating around, and some of them look straight out of one of those Xbox 720 videos that you used to get back in the day. Remember them? No? Oh, I'm old. So I've got 4 different concept arts here of what the Switch 2 might look like, and I'm going to rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being, that's probably likely to happen, and 1 being, nope, that's an Xbox 720. Concept 1. This is the one that everyone's using for their YouTube thumbnails, and let's be honest, I've probably used it in mine. This doesn't look much different to what we have now, except the Joy-Cons look bigger, which I would absolutely love. I always find that the Joy-Cons are just a little bit too small for my hands. Look, I have small hands, but you know what small hands are good for? Small gloves. 8 out of 10. I think this one's pretty likely. Concept 2. This dual screen design is really cool. It's like the best of the DS and the Switch. And having 2 screens on a Switch would allow us to do some super cool stuff. I like to imagine that it like flips up like a cool old flip phone. Oh, do you remember flip phones? No? Oh, I really am old. 6 out of 10. I highly doubt we are getting dual screens. Concept 3. This is another huge one that people are using in their thumbnails, and oh my god, I hope it doesn't look like this. You know, Nintendo, the guys that make fun, colourful games like Mario and Pokemon, and this just looks like I should be doing my taxes on it. I also don't understand why the screen kind of slides up to reveal a little Nintendo logo. Like, am I showing my friends and going, ooh, look at my lovely Nintendo Switch 2. I bet you want one. Don't you want a Nintendo Switch 2? Ooh. 0 out of 10, I hope. Concept 4. This one looks cool, but it's just kind of dumb. Like, wouldn't the Joy-Cons scratch the bottom screen? I don't know, this just gives me mad Xbox 720 vibes again. 3 out of 10. It's just way too complicated. 2 glass screens folding. It's too much for Nintendo. It does look cool though. Now for the problem I mentioned earlier. Now, the biggest rumor about the device itself is that the power will not be in the tablet, but will be in the dock, meaning that it will be more powerful when it's plugged in. I really hope that this isn't the case because it limits what the handheld console can do. But once again, this is something that we also speculated when the original Switch came out, and I don't think Nintendo would make a bad decision like this. But then again, they did make the Wii U, so maybe we will get that. So, when is it going to be announced? Release date? Well, they said it'll be sometime in this fiscal year. Wait, what does fiscal year mean? Fiscal year. A fiscal year spans 12 months and corresponds on the company's budgeting processes and financial reporting periods. Financial years can differ. So sometime from now until March 2025. You could have just said that, Nintendo. But wait, a new Nintendo tweet, whatever. We'll be getting a new Nintendo Direct in June. Surely they're going to tell us about the brand new console there. But please be aware that there will be no mention of the Nintendo Switch successor during this presentation. Oh well, I guess I don't need to watch that then. Okay, Nintendo, everything's looking pretty good. You can take my money. How much do you need? Price. According to the leaker Zippo and a couple of other sources, they're saying it's going to be more expensive than the original Switch at about $399. I'm okay with that. To have handheld Nintendo games on the go again, that sounds fine to me. Except I don't have that money, so I'm going to have to find a way to make that money. This is where I'd put like a sponsored segment if I was a big enough YouTuber, but I'm not. So let's move on. The Switch 2 has real big boots to fill, and if it's anything like the Wii U, it's going to be terrible. The Switch 2 needs to be good. Okay, bye.